What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some great topics for you guys, but before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos and discussions first. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting off with some big news out of the ATLUS realm for the Nintendo Switch. So a major RPG that people have wanted on the Nintendo Switch for quite some time. No, not Persona 5, but we'll talk about that. But 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, that game has been officially confirmed for the Nintendo Switch. So publisher ATLUS and developer Vanillaware will release a Switch version of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim on April 12th, 2022 in the West and April 14th in Japan for 6,980 yen, the companies have announced. Additionally, the companies did announce that total shipments and digital sales for the PlayStation 4 version have surpassed 500,000 units. Now, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim launched for the PlayStation 4 in November 2019 in Japan and in September 2020 worldwide. Now, both the physical and digital editions of the Switch version of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim will include the digital secret file and digital art books. The latter will include 9 additional illustrations. The physical edition also includes a reversible cover jacket. Now you guys are checking out the announcement trailer here, and usually any announcement from ATLUS actually just starts pretty much a fire where people just start chiming in and start, the clamoring and asking. Heck, I just made a video talking about real ATLUS fans wanting Persona and stuff like that. But let's talk about this game first. Let's talk about ATLUS just a little bit more, then we'll get into everything. So let's just start with the announcement of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Very good announcement. Good to see ATLUS finally bring this game over. And I do think that they always wanted to bring it to the Nintendo Switch. I just personally feel that the development budget for this game, the team as well with Vanillaware, I mean, they already kind of had their hands full. They are a smaller team, and the money does have to come from somewhere. And I think that they were comfortable enough after the first year or so to greenlight that Nintendo Switch port. Now, contrary to popular belief on the internet, you can't just snap your fingers and a Switch port exists. There is planning, there is development time, there is a lot of things that you have to do. So if they did decide after the release of 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, if this game was going to be a hit or good enough to port it over to spend the money, then it makes sense that it took this amount of time if you factor in everything, especially with the COVID pandemic. Maybe they wanted to have it out a year after the PlayStation 4 version, but to be honest, when you look at it worldwide, it wasn't too bad overall. So to me, it makes sense that it took just about the amount of time that it did take, and I did feel that it would come, considering that the sales have kind of reached about what it was going to take anyway. So I just feel that this was the perfect time with the 2-year anniversary of the game in Japan to announce that the game is coming over to Nintendo Switch. And it also comes at a time that more people in Japan are buying the Nintendo Switch than any other platform easily combined, and then times by like 10 or something like that. So the Switch is by far the most dominant system in Japan. The game didn't have a huge launch in Japan, and I think that most people probably watching this think that this game would flourish in Japan, but it actually didn't. Where this game did most of its damage was here in the West, and specifically for $20 or $29.99. This game was discounted almost instantly after it came out, I think last year during the pandemic, and then of course Black Friday. So I mean, many people bought this game at a discounted price. So I think that's where they really picked up a ton of momentum, and of course to get started on that port whenever they did, I'm guessing it was about a year and a half or so between the pre-production planning and everything, especially with the pandemic. So to me, it makes complete sense, and this game has been described by many as one of the greatest stories told of all time in any game. Not just JRPGs, not just visual novels, not just anything else, but just like any game. I've heard that the narrative is absolutely incredible. Now, I do have the game on the PlayStation 4, but I haven't really sunk enough time into it to kind of give that thought process. But I did buy it Black Friday last year for that $29.99 price tag, and it's even cheaper this year on PlayStation 4. So you can pick it up on there, of course, backwards compatible, or you can wait for the Nintendo Switch version, which pretty much I I was doing. I just bought it because I wanted one sealed, to be honest, but I'll probably check out the Switch version for real so I can play it lying down in bed and all that good stuff, because it is a narrative-driven story. It is a narrative-driven type of game, and I'd honestly like to take that anywhere and just have it lying down and just kind of play casually, more so than being hooked up to the LG CX in the living room or something like that. So overall, it's a good idea from Atlus, and I think that fans are going to respond nicely to this game. Now, next up, let's talk about Atlus just in general. That's one Vanillaware game. I know a lot of you guys have been asking for other Vanillaware games to come over. Miramasa the Demon Blade, Odin's Sphere, Dragon's Crown, games like this. That would be great. But money has to come from somewhere for those. And I'm just not sure if Atlus and Sega, Vanillaware are all going to get together to get all of those ported over like anytime soon. Could we see another one or two? Absolutely we could. I think Miramasa the Demon Blade is definitely a game that could come over, considering that was a Wii game originally. We'll see about the other two, but yeah, I think that people want Vanillaware games on the Nintendo Switch. I know that Odin's Sphere is a game that could potentially come over as well, considering how good that game is. Now, next up is Atlus just in general and what they've been doing on the Switch. So in the past couple years, we've gotten a number of Atlus games on the platform, right? We've got stuff like Persona 5 Strikers. We got a Catherine full body port. We also got Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. I mean, there was a number of games. SMT5 just came out, so I think a lot of you guys are probably wondering, when is the big one coming when it comes to Persona 5? Well, I look at it this way. The shift in Japan is obviously pretty clear at this point. I think that all Japanese developers see that, but they have to balance it with what's going on in the West, because for many of these Japanese developers, obviously the West is where they make a lot of money, not just Japan, but I do think that the Nintendo Switch has a pretty grounded root in the Western territories too, so there's plenty to be sold there. So I already see that shift happening. We're seeing stuff like 13 Sentinels. Atlus has been overdriving their Nintendo Switch support in the past couple years, like I stated, so I can see something like Persona 5 coming probably next year or the year after. I think they really wanted to get Shin Megami Tensei 5 out of the way and not have one take the thunder from the other, because of those two franchises are just kind of titans in their own right in the RPG genre. So I do feel that they wanted to get SMT5 out of the way, and then maybe after, 6 to a year after that, we might start hearing some rumblings about what's going on, if there's going to be a Persona 5 port or not. But if we don't hear anything probably in the next year or the following year, then I'm not sure if it's going to happen, but I'm still of the belief that there will be that. I just think they wanted to get SMT5 out of the way and sold, and not have one game kind of steal all the thunder and the announcements and the hype for the other game, because SMT5 is a really good game. I actually like it more than Persona 5 myself, so I really like that game, and I think that they really wanted to launch and make sure that that game did really well and give it the best opportunity to do well on the Nintendo Switch. So those are my thoughts when it comes to everything so far with Atlus and 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim coming over. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys, we've got some more information on that classic PS1 remake or remaster that's been rumored with Chrono Cross for the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and also PC. This comes from Nintendo enthusiasts with the beat here, talking about a developer that could be involved with this, with plenty of, I would say, proof or evidence, more like it, that this could be happening. So the news of the past week or so is that the Square Enix classic Chrono Cross is coming back in some way, shape, or form with a remaster or remake. Now, one insider has outright said that the game does exist and will be multi-platform, and also on the Spawncast just recently, Nate from Nate the Hate did state that, hey, this game is a thing as well. So it does seem like there are multiple sources claiming that Chrono Cross remaster / remake, I think they more said it's like a remake-ish type of thing, like a Trials of Mana style. So we'll talk about that some more. So we do have the Irish songwriter who seemingly composed for the project believes that it may be announced next month, but who is going to be developing this game? Now, the first bit of evidence is I would say, the relationship that Square Enix has with Forever Entertainment and also Nintendo as well. Both of those companies did announce deals with Forever Entertainment, and it does seem like it's tied to some type of retro technology or porting or remastering or something that Forever Entertainment has that these companies see in them, because you wouldn't see what Nintendo and Square Enix did with Forever Entertainment if there wasn't something cooking in the pot there when it comes down to it. So that was already an agreement that we do know of with Square Enix and also Forever Entertainment to remaster or remake games. Now, there was speculation all at that time at the announcement that it could be Parasite's Eve or Drakengard or other long dormant franchises out there. So there's been a ton of speculation. So that's essentially what's going on here with that. Now, there's also other things as well, so I'll have you guys check out the link for the full list. I just kind of wanted to insert my own opinion on what could be happening with Forever Entertainment, because I didn't mention that in my original report on this rumor when it comes down to it, which a lot of you guys did like, a lot of you guys watched it. If you haven't seen my original video on it, make sure you check that out. I'll have a link in the description, or you can check out the homepage, it's right there. But yeah, I do think that Forever Entertainment could be involved with this, because like everyone's been stating so far with that agreement with Square Enix, now you have an RPG that's being rumored. Chrono Cross seems to be the game that it's going to be. So of course, Forever Entertainment should definitely be something that everyone is saying right now. Now, it could be something different. It could not be Forever Entertainment. It could be somebody else. It could be just Forever Entertainment is just helping out and another developer is working on it. So we're going to have to wait and see on that. But overall, if Forever Entertainment did it, this company has a little bit of a polarizing type of reputation. Some people do enjoy their works, like the Panzer Dragoon, and then some people absolutely hate what they've been doing over at Forever Entertainment. They've made a number of Nintendo Switch games. They've made a number of games multi-platform, so they know how to develop on the Nintendo platform. They're familiar with the hardware, and like I've stated before, they probably have some type of, I would say, remaking or remastering proprietary type of thing, or there's something that Square Enix and Nintendo see in this company in order to go into business dealings with them on that large of a scale, especially with Nintendo. You don't see that very often when it comes down to it, and having Square Enix and Nintendo jump into the ship here with Forever Entertainment, something is definitely up. We heard about all of this earlier in the year, and now I think the plans are starting to come to fruition with the end of the year. We do have the Game Awards coming up. That could be an announcement for there. We've had stuff like Bravely Default 2 and Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 announced at the Game Awards, so maybe something like a Chrono Cross, a classic hardcore RPG for that type of audience, could be in the works for an announcement there. So we're gonna have to wait and see on it. I just think that Forever Entertainment, despite having a polarizing type of, I would say, reputation, I still think that they can put out some good stuff. I don't think that it's all bad, and I feel that Chrono Cross definitely needed some type of remaster or remake. The game is a little crusty on the PlayStation 1. I mean, it's still a good game. I have it myself. Heck, I beat it not too long ago. Again, I beat it back in the day, but I beat it again recently on my PlayStation 3 backwards compatible. Well, not recently, it was a couple of years ago, but I still played it again. And yeah, it's a little crusty, but at the same time, it's still a high quality, very good RPG. Now, for those that are asking, is it as good as Chrono Trigger? No, it's not as good as Chrono Trigger. So don't expect Chrono Trigger. Don't expect anything near the level of Chrono Trigger. Now, could you like it more than Chrono Trigger? Sure, absolutely. There are definitely people that like it more, but do I feel that it's better based off of everything when it comes to music and when it comes to just the story and the atmosphere? Absolutely not. But it's still a very good RPG with a lot of memorable moments, a great battle system, a lot of unique and innovative things in there, and a ton of content as well. It was a 3-disc PS1 game back in the day, and it was also the game that was single-handedly responsible for killing the Chrono franchise, considering it sold less than Chrono Trigger with a way bigger install base at the end of the PS1's life. So it was a great game, but it also killed the franchise because people weren't buying it, just because I think that people were enwrapped in the PS2 coming out the following year or so, and also all the Final Fantasy games. There was just so much. It was hard to compete. Square Enix kind of competing against itself when it comes to the RPGs on the platform. But what do you guys think about this when it comes to Forever Entertainment possibly being involved or developing the Chrono Cross remake remaster? What do you guys think about it? Do you feel it's somebody else? How do you feel it's going to be? Is it going to be on the level of a Trials of Mana or so? It's definitely not going to be a Final Fantasy VII remake. So I don't want to hear any of that in the comment section below, guys. But what do you think? Let me know. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.